if I had a huge budget and a full camera crew, I would insert myself in certain areas and filming behind the scenes. And then other times I would have someone with a long lens and a parabolic mic filming them from a distance to really get zoned in on when they're locked in and to have a better look at what happens in the corrals. But a lot of the times we go to these competitions, I'm trying not to be distracting when they're really in the zone and capture that quietly and then interact with them when I'm not taking them away from their competition. Like I don't ever want to be the reason. I would never want to be the reason that someone didn't perform well because I was goofing around with them or getting in their heads before they competed. So I think we get a little bit of skewed perspective on what athletes are like right before they're about to compete and when they flip that switch. But I think what makes this sport specifically so cool is, for the most part, if you've worked this hard and you've suffered this much, they used to say like there was a barrier for assholes to be able to be that successful in this sport or to take part in this sport because it is so humbling all the time. Like handstand push-ups, they humble me anytime I do them. Deadlifts humble me anytime I see them in competition because I get smoked by them. And so to be successful, you have had to have been humbled so many times before you get to this point that you have a level of humility that you might not see in other sports. And so for the most part, anyone that I've been able to work with that's at the top of the sphere of CrossFit has been very lovely to work with. But that's also partly because I know when to approach them and when not to approach them.
And what sort of thing are you seeing? Maybe they're because like I interviewed a fighter pilot called Hazard Lee, and he was talking about how they can have a standard mission and they will have a 30-minute conversation on one radio call that didn't go right, and they will drill it till it goes right. And he said that they have like a live debate, the live reviews. That's the most important part of the mission to them because they want to get it right to fix the problems. How do you see somebody using sort of recovery methods in between the rounds, using recovery outside of it, but also reviewing what went right and wrong with these top performers? Do they let you in on their views of how they're going to fix it for next time, how they analyze themselves, the metrics they use? I mean, it could be anything from a missed rep to just not feeling it in the moment. How do you see their kind of approach to reviewing and recovering so they come back better and better for each round, but also as a better person, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. And I can't say like I wish I had a great story about like Matt sitting down and reviewing every video from the 2018 games or 17 and I'm sure he's probably done that to some degree. Unfortunately, a lot of the season and time that I'm with people, it's in the heat of the moment, not necessarily like the weeks following where they're reviewing their performance. And let me a sec. Because the sport of CrossFit, each event is dramatically different from the previous one. There's no point, I think, for them reviewing in that moment, hey, what happened on the workout Amanda? There's no point reviewing their muscle ups in the weekend because they're probably not going to have muscle ups again. But what they
Yeah.
can review is their attitude going in towards the next event. And what they can do is focus on fueling themselves and eating properly and getting their body core temperature down. And that's really the recovery methods that they're doing internally and mentally. I'm sure they're doing a lot of things, but looking at mistakes from a previous